I'll have to say before we start, there are certain words we shouldn't use. One is art. I don't make art. I mean, paintings and sculpture and dancing. It may end up being art, but that's not the intention. I think the language is quite important. I first went to art school when I was 6, and I did this painting class for the first year. Well, I used to get there at 9:30 in the morning. My father would drop me off. The classes started at 10, so I could wander around the art school. And I wandered around the sculpture department. I thought that looked quite interesting. Maybe I could do some sculpture. So I changed from the painting department into the sculpture department. They showed you how to cast things, they showed you how to carve things, they showed you how to model things, they showed you how to do things. And one of these enormous north-facing students, designed by McLean, which was, we weren't put in some cupboard to work because we were 4 and 5-year-olds. We were put in the main place. We thought, I feel really important. So from a very early age, I knew these things existed and were taken seriously by certain people. So that was interesting to me.
That's a pretty incredible education.
That's another one we shouldn't use. Learning, yes, but learning is not the same as education. You learn together, you learn things, by trying things out and testing things. It's not me educating you. We learn together. That's what interests me, and I learned that at a very early age. They took me seriously, took what I did seriously, and I had serious conversations about it. So when you went to normal school, where they were involved with education, I could be tell you to piss off, basically. Don't want to do that. Gave me a confidence that I wouldn't have had I not been. Because I was working with real artists. Don't mind the word artist, but...
Good, at least I've got that one.
Yeah. I got thrown out of school. I defaced the exam papers. I wrote underlines, this question isn't applicable. I said to my father, I'll be kicked out of school, I've got to go to art school. He said, how are you going to go to art school? You got the qualifications. I said, well, I'm going to go. I went to the Glasgow School of Art for 2 years. It was a fantastic 2-year general course, and we did everything. At the end of it, I was very disillusioned by the head of the school who had my sculpture burnt because it wasn't made of the right material. So I went to St Martin's. They wanted you to go there and discuss what sculpture might be. What has sculpture been? What is it now? And what will it be? How are we going to move forward? You have to question everything. And if that's there, why is that there? You can't do that if you do that. If you say that, you can't do that. Yes, I can. No, you can't. And it was like really a constant kind of debate and argument from the day I went to the day I left.
What is sculpture to you?
Dearie me. It's anything I say it is. Me sitting here talking to you could be a sculpture, if I wanted to be. I don't particularly want to be a sculpture, but it can be. But I think of everything as sculpture. We were told that Anthony Carroll, his big breakthrough was he took the sculpture and put it from a pedestal onto the floor. If that was a big breakthrough, taking a sculpture off a pedestal and putting it on the floor, you could take a hole in the floor and put it under the floor, or you could put it under the ground, you could put it anywhere. You say that's a breakthrough from here to there, then it could be from there to the moon, or beyond the moon. It was a good grounding for whatever else I did. I was fortunate in Saturday morning classes, general course, and St Martin's. Really good, 3 good places to be. And it put me, in my opinion, step ahead of the game. I've seen so much stuff.
I'm not sure if this is going to be a word that I'm allowed to use, but I'm going to try.
You can use it if you want, I'll only shout at you.
How do you feel about the term conceptual art?
Yeah, it was a bit of a difficult one because we all thought, was there any art without a concept? 1966, I made a lecture at St Martin's and I was invited to show my new sculptures, but I hadn't made any sculptures, so I went and invented a whole lot of stuff. Somebody said this was completely rubbish, it wasn't sculpture, it wasn't this. Anyway, that's when it started for me. It was the first kind of international art movement, because people could send a telegram to somebody. It was a work, take a photograph or a postcard. People didn't use a photograph as a work. They made a photograph as a documentation. It wasn't a work in itself. I was making photography while I was setting up photography, which became the work. People were moving stuff around the world, and you could take your sculpture with you in a plane, you know. So it made ideas and the transmission of ideas very quick. All the artists were involved in so-called conceptual weren't making stuff that was actually visible or not buyable or consumable. And so that it didn't suit the art world. People were making money out of it. So it was a bit of a problem really. But and it kind of closed down quite quickly. But it was good when it lasted.
And enter. Try and get this right. And listen.
Conceptual art finished in '69. I decided to give up being involved in the art world. I just didn't like it much. I was teaching at another good place, which is Mason School of Art. One of the students there, called Paul Richards, I'd seen an interview sculpture I'd done with Gilbert and George at St. Lawrence. I got talking to him. He did some very interesting work. Through discussion, we decided that we could form a group, like a movement. The idea was to make a kind of group that would move around. It wouldn't be 4 people, it could be 40 people, it could be 3 people. To make a kind of collective ensemble that would do difficult pieces about different things.
Don't be nervous, don't be shy. Good, keep moving, keep thinking, use the space. Don't be scared to check out the Baroque master. Use the headwork. Think about it.
It was called nice style because we didn't like the word nice, we didn't like the word style. It was meant to be kind of superficial crap.
2-part retrieval work. Can you see that again?
What was it with posing, basically? Non-verbal communication, the 20th century. There weren't many books on that at the time. But it wasn't really, underneath it had a serious intent. It was to try to make something which hadn't been made before, dealing with very slight things, like superficial things, and things which seemed superficial but perhaps weren't. We weren't making performance art. Performance art was invented by the Arts Council to accommodate people who didn't behave properly in painting and sculpture departments. So we were not performance art, we were sculptures. Another one we shouldn't use is career. I never had a career. I've done a lot of different things and people will be very critical of why I've done all these different things, but I've done all these different things because I wanted to try them out. So I've always done that. I don't care what the criticism might be. I've done what I wanted to do. It's gone badly, it's gone well, it depends, but at least I'm doing what I want to do.
Thanks, Bruce. That was good.
It's all right. Do you want a drink now?